If you're struggling in life and you want to get your life together, I recommend following these 10 steps. Number one, own your rock bottom. You have to take full accountability and responsibility for where you're at in life. And it doesn't matter whether you're addicted to drugs, whether you're having some depression, some anxiety, or you just feel stuck. You have to own it. You can't feel sorry for yourself. I know for me, I was in jail, I was addicted to drugs, and I was broken. And that rock bottom became the foundation for everything that I've built my life on. And it wasn't until I owned it and realized that that's where I was at that time that things started to change. Number two, you must take radical responsibility for your life. You got to stop blaming people from the past. You got to stop blaming your parents. You got to stop blaming your circumstances. I know this is hard to hear because let's face it, sometimes in life, people really do you wrong and they do some things that are horrific and they should never do. However, harping on those things is only going to lead to more pain and misery and chaos in your life. One of the biggest turning points for me in my transformation was when I was locked up behind bars and my cellmate told me that no one was coming to save me. And he said this when I was blaming my parents for being in jail. He said this when I was blaming my friends for being in jail. He said this when I was blaming every single thing in person but myself for my incarceration. He looked at me and he said, stop being a victim. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You need to take full ownership and responsibility for your life if you want to change. No one's coming to rescue you but yourself. Number three, you got to build a routine that's non-negotiable for you and where you want to be in your life. Non-negotiable. You have to create structure. And that's going to look different for every single person. It could obviously include things like going to the gym, going and taking a yoga class. It could be meeting with a coach. It could be going to a meeting. Obviously showing up at work or school or whatever you're doing, but create a routine that is non-negotiable for you. One of the things right now that is non-negotiable for me is my workouts and fitness. Other things for me are spending time with my fiance. It's spending time working on my business. It's doing things every single day that are going to allow me to become a better version of myself. Now, my routine today is much different than it was before. When I was first getting my life together, some of my non-negotiables were just simply not doing drugs or substances that I was addicted to. It was moving my body on a regular basis. It was not spending time with people that were doing drugs that brought me down. It was like doing things that were necessary to develop myself into the person that I wanted to become so that I could, maintain a level of recovery and transform my life. And you have to start somewhere. And I was really fortunate to build this routine when I was locked up and I started doing push-ups in jail, which allowed me to take some form of control of my life because many times when people are trying to get their act together, it's because they've lost some form of control. And you have to find the things in life that you can control. And so for me, when I was in jail, it was obviously doing things like push-ups and walking and running, but also kind of watching what I ate so that I could start to use fitness as a catalyst to transform my life. This gets into number four, which is move your body regularly. Your body and exercise is one of the most underutilized tools for recovering from addiction and just anything in life. We all know the physical benefits of exercise. We know that if you exercise, you're going to live longer. We know that if you exercise, you're going to feel better. You're going to sleep better. It's going to reduce your stress, all those things. But exercise is much more than just that. Exercise teaches you to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Exercise teaches you how to be self-disciplined. Exercise shows you the true definition of self-care and self-love. Like self-love and self-care is showing up for yourself and taking care of your body, even on the days that you don't feel like it. Now, one of the other things that you have to do when it comes to this is you have to find what works for you. I could sit here and I could tell you what works for me when it comes to exercise or what's worked for the countless number of clients I've trained over the years. But the one thing I will say is you have to find the thing that you're going to do consistently because consistency trumps perfection every day of the week. And if you're somebody that's like, you know what, like I love being outdoors and hiking, then do that. If you're somebody that's like, man, I really want to get like jacked and build muscle, then go to the gym and follow a good weightlifting program. If you like to run, do that. Like just you have to find something that works for you that's going to allow you to stay consistent and stack small wins off of that. Because when you're exercising, it helps you build more confidence. It helps you earn self-respect. and it obviously can help with stress and things like anxiety and your mental health, etc. So find a way to move your body on a regular basis. Number 5, you got to eliminate toxic things in your life. This starts with your friends. You really need to look at the people in your life and ask yourself if they're adding value or taking away value from you. You have to ask yourself, are these people where you have more in common from the past or more things in common from the future? If you're somebody that is spending time with people that are just doing drugs, they're negative, they're toxic, they're gossiping, you will become like that person. So if you're somebody who's trying to get your life together and stop doing these things, you should try to make new friends. And I know loneliness is a real thing, and I'm not advocating for anyone to spend time by themselves all the time. However, I do think that there is some benefit. There's a lot of benefit, I should say, to taking some intentional time to focus on you and to focus on the types of people that you want to be spending time with, and asking yourself, like, where do certain people align with where you want to go? Because if you're somebody that's trying to quit things like drugs, for instance, and all of your friends are doing drugs, it's going to be really hard to stay away from that. And you have to also look at some of your other habits as well. You got to look at, like, how much time are you spending a day scrolling on social media? How much time a day are you spending like not moving your body, sitting? How much time are you spending every single day, like just doing things that aren't adding value to your life? You have to really audit these things, and you can do it in a variety of ways. You can work with a coach, you can go to therapy. You can also like write down on a piece of paper the things you are doing on a regular basis and kind of look at it from an objective view and say, is this something that I should be doing or spending a lot of time on each and every day? If you're somebody who's feeling stuck in life, you should really evaluate your relationship with substances. Are you somebody that is smoking too much weed? Are you somebody that's addicted to hard drugs? Are you somebody that's drinking too much? Are you somebody that's vaping too much? Whatever it is, like, evaluate your relationship with those things, and don't be afraid to ask for help, right? You need to understand that in order to get your life together and get back to a place where you can start to get momentum going again, you need to eliminate the stuff that's going to stop the momentum, and substances will stop your momentum. So evaluate your relationship with those things and figure out where you need to course correct in order to better yourself. Number 6, master your mindset. If you have negative self-talk in your life, your actions will be a reflection of that. And I strongly believe that if you have negative thoughts and negative actions, I think that you're not going to be where you want to be in life, and you're going to feel stuck, and you're going to feel like you need to get your life together over and over again. Change the way you talk to yourself. So you really have to focus on things like the I am statements. I think these are pretty powerful to change. And I think that your inner voice and the way that you talk to yourself can either be a form of abuse, or you can bully yourself, or it can be something that can lift you up and can be elevating, right? So if you're saying, I am a failure, you got to change that to say, I am trying to be a better person. If you're somebody that says, I am never going to make it in life, you have to say, I believe that I'm going to make it in life, even when the odds are against me, or even though it doesn't feel like that right now. And obviously, these reframes are going to be different based on you and based on your situation. But I think you have to figure out a way to like change the way you talk to yourself. Because if you talk poorly to yourself for long enough, I mean, your life is just going to be chaotic, because you're going to ruminate and you're not going to take that chance. You're not going to overcome your fears. You're not going to make that next right step, because you're just caught up in your own stuff that's going on in between your ears. So you need to learn how to have a healthy relationship with the way you speak to yourself. And you don't have to be toxic positivity. I'm not talking about that. However, like, you have to be optimistic about your life if you want to make it, and if you want to get your stuff together and transform things. So be mindful of the way you talk to yourself, and speak to yourself in a way that you would talk to your best friend. Number 7, you must create a purpose that's bigger than yourself. And one of the things that really helped me with this was turning my pain into purpose. And I know a lot of people say that, and I get it, but it's true. Like, a lot of people who have hard times in their life and struggle with hardship and struggle with things like addiction, one of the most healing things you can do is help other people. And so when I make content like this, or when I talk to people on social media, or when I have people reach out that are struggling, there's not a lot of things that make me happier than helping other people. And it's being able to share parts of my story that maybe I'm not proud of, and I'm just proud of how I've been able to use those parts of my life to become a better person, help other people, where I just find joy. And I find that I'm here for a reason. I was kept alive for a reason, because it's allowed me to serve others. And it's not just about me. because there's going to be times in life when you feel down and when you feel off, and that's going to happen. It's human nature. But what I found is when I get just ruminating with my own thoughts and I become over obsessive about what's going wrong in my life, things tend to get worse, right? And one of the things that helps me step outside of that is to help somebody else out, is to reach my hand out and find somebody that's struggling and try to speak light into them. That for me, I found really helps, not only just get me out of like ruts sometimes, but it also has helped me make peace with my past and find purpose that's a lot bigger than just who I am as a person. Number 8, heal the past without living in it. I know a lot of people have said this. I've said this before, but I think of your life as kind of like riding in a car, right? So you have your rear view mirror where you're kind of glancing at the past. Your past is behind you. And then you have your windshield, which is like your life ahead of you. And what happens if you stare in your rearview mirror for too long? You're going to crash. You're going to get lost. You're going to miss the turn. You're going to do all these things that mess up your route, right? But sometimes you want to check the rearview mirror to kind of see what's behind you, see if you can make a turn to the right, see if you can change lanes, make a turn to the left, see if you can get over to take that exit, while also keeping your mind on what's in front of you. And I think that's a great metaphor for life, because your past is important in the sense of learning from past mistakes, or looking at how far you've come, or maybe like not repeating past behaviors, or maybe being proud of yourself for where you came, or just celebrating certain things, right? But what it's not good for is just harping on it. And so you need to find a way to transform your relationship with your past so that you don't let it completely define you, right? And this can be done through a variety of things. I mean, I think changing your life completely and changing your whole identity as a human being and becoming that person you want to be is probably one of the best ways to change the relationship with your past, because I've found that once you get to a point of transformation where you've gotten far enough away from who you were, you start not to recognize that person that you used to be anymore. As a matter of fact, you start to like almost like loathe that person. And I think that is a great marker, because what happens is, the past mistakes you make, they can become mistakes of like the new version of yourself, and not like, oh, I'm going back to who I was. And again, that takes time. And I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. I mean, I've been on this journey for a long time. And so that's where I'm at with things now. But along the way, there's been incremental things that have helped me along the way to heal my relationship with my past. Number one, I talked about finding purpose that's bigger than myself and sharing my story. Total game changer. Therapy has been monumental for me, going and talking to a professional about my past and working through some stuff. Forgiveness, huge thing. Learning to forgive people in my life that I thought, were mean to me or wronged me or whatever the case may be. Like really letting that go was super helpful. But more importantly than that, it was forgiving myself. I had a hard time with this. I did a lot of bad things when I was younger. A lot of bad things. Like I was the kid that if you're a parent, you wouldn't want your daughter to date and you wouldn't have wanted your son to hang out with. I was that guy. As a matter of fact, there was parents and there's people that wouldn't let their kids hang out with me because of my behavior, my actions. But I had to let all that stuff go. I had to understand that those points in my life were helping me become who I am now, and that I had to forgive myself and just understand that I was, just trying to survive. And it wasn't the healthiest way. No, but I was literally just trying to survive on a day-to-day basis and doing what I could. And it took some time, obviously, like, going to therapy and becoming a Christian and forgiveness journaling. All these things have helped me kind of relinquish the resentment I had towards myself. But after a while, and if you're consistent with this work, like you will feel better about your past. Don't put a time frame on it. Some people, it can obviously take a few months. Others, it takes a few years. Like just don't put a time frame on it, but just know that consistency is going to go a long way with all this. Number 9, be relentless. I mean, relentless about stacking small wins. I said this a lot in my content. Confidence isn't built at the top of the mountain. Confidence is built on the way up, and it's getting back up after each time you fall that helps reinforce that level of confidence, right? Like success and transformation is built on momentum. And if you're somebody that is watching this video because you want to get your life together, odds are like right now you're not having a lot of wins maybe, right? And you're feeling like you're not making progress. So you have to identify where can you make small wins in your life. That's why I love exercise, because it's a great vehicle to make small wins. You go from walking 5 minutes a day to 6 minutes. You go from doing one push up to two push ups. You go from doing a 30-second plank to a 40-second plank. I mean, the examples are endless when it comes to fitness, right? But you have to find ways to stack small wins. This could also be like how you set up your morning. You could be somebody that sleeps in every day until 10 a.m. A small win could be like getting up at 9:30. It could be getting up at 9. Like whatever the case may be, you have to find something that's small. The biggest mistake people make, one of them, I should say, is trying to stack big wins, trying to chase after these big wins instead of the small ones. It's trying to go from one push up to 50 push ups in a week. It's trying to go from the couch to the 5K in a matter of days. It's trying to go from sleeping until 11 a.m. to waking up at 6. Those are the things that I believe can set people back, because when you're in a place where you feel like you're not achieving anything and you're not having momentum, when you set yourself up to fail by setting these unrealistic goals, you're just reinforcing that failure mentality that people have when they're in that spot. So you have to find ways to stack small wins. And number 10, surround yourself with people that bring the best out in you. Surround yourself with people that love and support you unconditionally. Surround yourself with people that are a little bit ahead of you in life. Because what I've found is proximity is everything. You start to become like those people. You start to become inspired. And especially if you're somebody that is trying to eliminate some of these toxic influences in your life, you're trying to get rid of old friends that aren't aligned with where you want to go. Well, you have to find people to spend time with, right? So one of the best types of people to spend time with is just people that are a little bit further along than you, that you can learn from. And it's not in a way of like using people. It's just like, I think people will be attracted to that. They're going to enjoy your company as well, because you're somebody who's trying to better yourself. Like you'd be surprised how much people enjoy like spending time with people like that. So spend time with people that are going to elevate you in your life. I think this will be a great tool to help you replace some of your old friends. So if you like this video, I would love to hear your feedback in the comments, and thanks so much for watching.